Hi there. Are you ready for another story? Well, tonight we're going to read The Cool Bean by Jory John. Are you ready? Watch out. Here come the cool beans. The cool beans. Oh yeah, check out the way they move. Look at the way they swagger. Notice their sunglasses. Yow. The cool beans are known all over school, from house to house, across town, beyond county lines. In the olden days, last year, we were all one big pod of beans. We were a mixed bag, but somehow it worked. Yep, those were the good old days. And then we stopped seeing each other as much. That's just how it is sometimes. You spend less time together even though you're not totally sure why. I watched as the beans I knew so well, the beans from my own pod, became the cool beans. They were so cool. One of them could play the guitar. Cool. One of them could draw the best superheroes. Cool. One of them could jump higher than any bean I'd ever known. Cool. Me, well, I mostly stayed the same. Sure, I made some small changes. I wore sunglasses, too big. I slicked my hair back, too slick. I strutted around, oof. I swaggered, oof. I was still picked last for everything. My clothes never seemed to fit. I snorted when I laughed. I walked into stuff. I was an uncool bean for sure. I started thinking of myself as just a common bean with no special skills. I couldn't compete, so I didn't even try. I'd never be a cool bean. It seemed like there were two types of beans in the world. There were the cool beans and the beans like me. The days all blended together. I lived my life and things were just okay. I took tests and ate lunches and mostly kept to myself. The cool beans continued being cool. But it's not like I was going to say anything. I felt like all that coolness had gotten in the way of our friendship, and that's how it went. Until one day, I was in the cafeteria. I dropped my lunch on my loafers. Oh no, not again. But then something sort of miraculous happened. Out of nowhere, one of the cool beans helped me clean it up. He didn't even say anything. He just gave me a nod. That was it. Later, I was out on the playground. I tripped and scraped my knee and maybe cried a little bit, and everybody saw it. Another one of the cool beans came to my side, and without a word, he dusted me off. That afternoon, I was sitting in class. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't notice, but our teacher had called on me. Everybody stared. I sat there in silence. Nobody said anything, and then everybody just laughed at me. That was it. After today, I was officially a has-been. But then one of the cool beans stood up and came over to me. Everybody watched. She leaned in close and whispered, "Hey, the teacher asked you to read from page 32. Then she gave me a quick wink and went back to her seat. It was a small gesture, sure, but it was also everything. I walked home with a goofy smile on my face. I smiled all the way through dinner. That day made all the difference. It was a day that could have been really bad if not for the kindness of a few cool beans. It gave me a shred of confidence, and that shred of confidence has continued to grow. Somebody had my back, or a few somebodies. After that, I started hanging out with the cool beans again. How have you been? Get it? How have you been? Not all the time, but sometimes. At lunch, after school, even on the weekends. Throughout all of this, I realized it's not about how you look or any of that silly stuff. It's about a wink or a nod or a smile at just the right moment. It's about dusting somebody off, helping them up again, and pointing them in the right direction. You need a hand? Yes, please. Now that's cool.
You know, a lot of people want to be considered cool because part of being cool is to be admired by others, and people like to be admired. But there's another part of being cool. Another part of being cool is being comfortable with who you are without having to pretend to be somebody else or to be something you're not. The little bean in the story tried to wear sunglasses. He tried to slick back his hair. He tried to walk around with some sort of swagger that wasn't part of who he was. That's not cool. He thought that the cool beans were cool because, well, they had all these skills. One could play the guitar, and one could play basketball really, really well. One could draw pictures really, really well. It turned out that wasn't it at all. It turned out that the cool people were willing to help others. And that's how he learned to be cool. He learned to be cool by helping others. He didn't need to be good at basketball or the guitar or art. Everybody has the capacity to be kind to others. And we don't have to pretend to be anybody else. We don't have to pretend that we're rich. We don't have to pretend that we're younger. We don't have to pretend that we're taller. We don't have to pretend that we're more successful than we are or that we have the whole world figured out. If we really want to be cool, we need to be comfortable with who we are. And all of us can extend kindness to others. And that will eventually cause others to admire us if that's really what's important to us. But it's more important to show kindness because it helps others. You know, the ultimate cool person is Jesus. A lot of people tried to get Jesus to be somebody he was not or pretend he was somebody he was not, but Jesus knew exactly who he was, and he was very comfortable being who he was, and he showed kindness to everybody. It didn't matter whether they were considered cool beans or not. And he said, you do like I've done. Just as I've loved you, you ought to love others. That's what showing kindness is all about. And do you know how much Jesus loves us? Sure you do. He loves us this much. So if you want to be cool, you love others. And God bless you. God bless you that you remember always that you are the beloved child he created you to be. And good night.